Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mindgasms. Doing another movie chat tonight. Chris couldn't join this time, but we got Scazio AKA Sheezan Alamgir, and we've got Dusty Cubes, aka the woke centrist, aka Dustin Cubit, and we're gonna talk.
You didn't see what name I put for this edition.
No, I didn't see what name you put. What name did you put this time?
I can't see it.
Let me remove this banner, and then you can see it. Oh, Panzerschreck centrist. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Nice. Yeah, he does a different one every time depending on what we're talking about. Yeah, that's cool.
But he's always a centrist though.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we're obviously talking about Saving Private Ryan, and that's obviously the famous movie directed by Steven Spieldberg that came out in 1998, starring Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, and many others. And it starts off with the most epic, intense war scene ever of them landing on the beaches on Normandy on D-Day and getting ripped to shreds and all that. And basically the main idea of the movie is that Tom Hanks' company, he gets like I forget whether he goes from a squad to, I think he goes from a full squad down to a company, or it's either that or the other way around. And they are ordered to go and search Nazi-occupied France for Private Ryan, who is the last of four brothers. His other three brothers have been killed, so that he can go home to his mother, so that it wouldn't be the case that every single one of her sons is killed. That's an interesting thing in itself, and yeah, it's an interesting movie. I wonder how historically accurate that is, because it seems like it would have been the case coincidentally that a lot of people's entire families get killed in World War II. But
I have some fun facts about that.
Okay. All right. So yeah, let's start off with that then.
Yeah, so it's based on something, but what it's based on, it's just loosely based on it. So the person that it happened to in real life, a completely different name and everything. And so yeah, a person lost all their three brothers, and he was going to get released from duty for being a sole survivor. The way that it happened in real life was bureaucratically, so they didn't actually send a squad or anything like that. They just sent a message to wherever his squad was located to return through like messaging. They didn't have to send like a rescue crew out or anything.
Oh, okay.
So, but he learned like months later. So they didn't like send anybody special. The message took like a month to get to him, but once it did, he was released from duty.
Oh, okay. So not anywhere near as dramatic as it is in the movie, of course.
No squad involved. It's just like
I'm sure
telegrams being sent out.
Yeah. But like their squad backing out, that must have put more pressure on other squads, right? Because a squad is backing out, right? Retreating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that story, you can still believe that story, I feel like.
Yeah.
Another fun fact about this movie, it's one of the few movies that's shown on network broadcast TV unedited, despite it being rated R.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so whenever this gets shown on network TV, it is not censored.
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen it on network TV before, but I guess I didn't even notice that.
Well, in the U.S., it's not censored. I don't know about Canada.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's some pretty fucking horrific shit that happens, like in all the
for the opening 20 minutes is pretty horrific.
Yeah. As I remember when I was a kid, when this first came out, my grandpa wanted all of his grandkids to watch this movie because he was in World War II. He was just a radio operator, but he thought this was a good movie for people to watch to discourage them against going into war. Well, I mean, especially that opening scene sure as fuck does so. Did you guys see, I forget which episode it was on, but on one of Dan Carlin's podcasts, he was talking about how apparently even that opening scene of D-Day pales in comparison to how fucking horrifying of an experience war like that actually is, according to actual World War II veterans.
Yeah, it's very truncated because I know the scene skirts on the edges of like 30 minutes, but in the actual reality, it took 3 hours for them to get up there.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
and I think I remember seeing in a documentary about when they were talking about D-Day 2 that like that whole violent like fucking turkey shoot when they're assaulting the beach, that was actually a small part of the D-Day thing. Like apparently the majority of it was nowhere near as violent and horrific as that, but there was one small part that was like that.
yeah, because I know during the beginning they spent a lot of time shooting naval shells at the beach to try to soften the beach up a bit. And then they dumped all the soldiers down there. But as you saw in the movie, like the amount of soldiers that were actually dumped down were pretty small, like compared to what the actual amount would have been.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But still, like regardless of how realistic and accurate to reality it is, it's still a very fucking effective movie. Like all of the war scenes are they're shot so effectively throughout the movie, and they're like there's this really visceral feeling, and like especially the part 2 where a grenade goes off at the start near Tom Hanks' character's head, and then he just goes into like PTSD mode, basically just like freezes in inaction, and then it happens a few times during the movie where he loses his hearing, and it gives you that experience, like it's trying to make you feel like you lost your sense of hearing like he just did. And then there's that shaky camera throughout the epic battle scenes, and it gets sprayed with blood a few times. It's really effective in that way.
Yeah, the ocean turns red, and then he's just watching like scenes of horror, like dudes getting their heads blown off, and
I was telling Andrew that like this movie when I watched it, that 30 minutes Dan Carlin and you guys are saying are like reduced, like that put a scar on my head, like a scar on my mind about war, and it's still like even when I watched it the other day, it felt really intense.
And
So
you know what's crazy is that World War One was like 10 times worse than that.
Yeah, World War One was like fucked, man. Like listen to Dan Carlin's podcast series about that. I think it's Blueprint. No, I forget what it's called. Is it Blueprint for Armageddon? I think that's what it's called.
I think that's his World War One like series,
yeah,
but
like,
it was ridiculously
he talked
bloody.
about how one of the significant things was how there was this advent of technology that had never been used before. Like that was the first war with tanks and artillery and trenches and all that kind of
Machine
stuff.
guns. That was the first war with machine guns.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's like cavalry versus he mentioned like people on like medieval style.
People still wearing breastplates. Like you could find pictures of like people on horses with breastplates and shit, like fighting in World War One. It's crazy.
Yeah, man.
That's crazy.
And the world still had not adjusted to fighting wars in that way. So that was, I think it was World War One where the term "into the meat grinder" was coined, right?
Yeah, so you had that. They had gas attacks. Well, gas wasn't outlawed yet. Yeah, they didn't have much in the way of like airstrikes, but wow, was it super brutal? Like with the gas and the shellings, all the unexploded ordnance that was littered around Europe. Like there are literal like bombs that are still on the ground there from that war.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Weren't
man.
they flying like jet planes that had like they weren't shielded from the environment. They're just riding jet planes with helmets and stuff.
Well, in
The
World
World
War
War.
One, they didn't have jets yet.
Oh, they didn't have
Well,
flight yet? Okay.
No, the Wright brothers, I think, was in 1912, so they were barely
Oh,
like
okay.
figuring out flight.
So
No, it
what
was
war is the
1906.
Red Baron and all that legend? What war is that from?
I think
That's
that's
World War One, but they're flying biplanes.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about the
that's
biplanes.
that's what you mean,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, they're just fought like biplanes with like machine guns on them.
right.
Yeah, even aerial combat with that kind of plane, that must be scarring, like weird.
Yeah, shit,
Yeah,
man. Like
definitely.
that's like even that stuff that they talk about later on in Saving Private Ryan with all the paratroopers. I've seen that represented in some other movies too, like that mini series called Band of Brothers, where some of it takes place from the perspective of paratroopers, and they get into that in Saving Private Ryan, where they have all these specific drop points, but there's so much chaos and the planes are getting shot so much that people had to get dropped early, and then they're scattered all over the place, and the companies are mixed into each other, and a lot of people die in the drop, and it's just complete fucking chaos. Like
The
they,
Charlie Company.
yeah, exactly. Like that.
Yeah.
That's why I put for War is Fubar for the first subtitle for this movie chat, because that's the term that Upham's trying to figure out throughout the movie, and they tell him it's German, and then it's not until the end that they tell him fucked up beyond all recognition.
Yeah, like Band of Brothers is great too. It
Yeah, I
was
like it.
I think it was executive produced by Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, I think you're right. Yeah,
And I think Spielberg also worked on that too, if
yeah.
I'm not mistaken.
I haven't seen yet that other mini series that I think was apparently made by them too, called The Pacific, which is about
I've seen it. I've
yeah.
only seen like the first 3 episodes,
Okay.
but it's like not even remotely the same. Like
Oh, okay.
I think only the first episode actually takes place in war, and like the main character like survives this battle, and then he becomes like a PR person used to push like recruitment. So yeah, I watched probably like the first 3 episodes, and like
Okay.
the other 2 episodes didn't even take place like in the battlefield.
Oh wow, weird. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's interesting because the Pacific realm of World War II, people know a lot less about that, and there are less movies made about it. But it's also like from what I've heard and from what movies I've seen about it and documentaries I've watched about it and stuff, it sounds way more fucking horrific. Like I think Dan Carlin is actually his most recent podcast series is kind of about that too. He talks about all the adjustment to the jungle terrain and fighting in all the tropical locations on Japanese islands, and how much the Japanese were better at navigating that terrain, and all sorts of little factors like that, and getting supplies into these jungle areas, and
That
having to
side of
deal
the
with
war, it's like the reason why America has like is a naval superpower, right? Because they started building all the ships after the Japanese attack, and they still control a lot of the Pacific, even South China Sea, because of that. I think, yeah, it's a pretty heavy. That war was pretty important. That side, Pacific side.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Because the Pacific side, well, Europe was one first before the Pacific, and then yeah, the Pacific side is a lot of island fighting, lots of naval battles.
And also,
Like
Elon Musk was saying that the Japanese Zero planes or whatever it's called, those some of their like aces could take out like entire fleets, entire groups of American jets, not jets, those planes. I don't know the proper name for them. Like
there's
Elon, yeah,
planes.
because they were better engineered, and yeah, so I don't they
Yeah.
really won with like production, like the factories producing so many planes
Mm-hmm.
that they won that fight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because that's the same issue that happened with the Germans, is that they over-engineered stuff. So their stuff was like way more expensive, and they didn't have as big a quantity as we did. Because that's what happened with like the basic evolution of the Tommy gun. Like the Thompson Tommy gun was actually pretty expensive to produce, and then they made like a way cheaper version called a grease gun, and it just looks like tubes slapped together, but it did the same thing, and it used like the same clip that the Tommy gun used. But they did that because it was way cheaper and easier to build. But like if you got your hands on a German gun, you would just keep that thing because they were like super well engineered.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember I was watching you saw that Dan Carlin episode with Elon Musk recently, obviously, Hey Sheezan, where that's what they
Yeah.
were talking about, the engineering that goes into warfare.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's really interesting. What you were saying about the guns there, Dusty, also made me think about, I was watching this documentary about the evolution of gun technology, and it reminds me of how, I think it was, yeah, the 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 AK-47 that was made by the Russians, the Americans, I think it's that they tried to copy it with the M16, and it could fire more quickly, but it had a tendency to jam. So people, I think this was especially in the Vietnam War, would always try to look for AK-47s and ditch their M16s, because the AK-47s, they didn't have as good of accuracy, but they would never jam, so they were a much more efficient weapon in that way.
Yeah, AK-47s, you can like beat them up and they'll still work.
Yeah.
Like really, really durable guns.
Yeah. That's why all the terrorists use them.
Also,
Well, that because they're cheap. AKs are very cheap.
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, that reminded me the engineering warfare episode that Dan Carlin did with Elon Musk. Tying that into Saving Private Ryan, the end of Saving Private Ryan, basically the English teacher, I forget his Tom Hanks. Tom
Miller.
Hanks'
Yeah.
character, he actually acts like a field engineer. There's like a German squadron invading that city, and he just on the field starts asking everyone like, do we have this kind of dynamite, like explosive capable materials that can be turned into explosives? And he's like on the field being really scrappy and tinkering, and
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they make the
versus
sticky bombs.
yeah, make the
Yeah,
sticky bombs.
all that MacGyvering stuff that they do before the last assault to save the bridge is really cool. Like where they're making sticky bombs by putting explosives in their socks and putting motor oil on them to stick them to the tanks. And like when they run out of uh what is it, when they run out, yeah, when they run out of that machine gun ammo, I think it's Ryan or Matt Damon's character, they start using these explosive shells by just slamming them on a solid, throwing them instead of shooting them out of a rocket launcher.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks has like laser focused accuracy
Yeah.
with those mortar shells.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a we're skipping to the end here already, but that's a cool part at the end where he gets shot and he's shooting at that approaching tank with his pistol, and all of a sudden the tank explodes, and you think for a second, how the fuck did his handgun do that? And then you see that a plane bombed the tank.
Yeah, he's like going last stand mode if we're talking about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
He goes into last stand. If last stand is in Call of Duty is when you get killed and you only have access to your pistol and you can't like move or anything. But he went into last stand and he started shooting the tank with his 45. And then the last shot the tank blows up, and he's like has this like surprised look on his face, like I did it, and then you see like a P-51 flying over.
P-51, interesting.
Because they came in this to save the day.
That reminds me too, when Tom Hanks' character dies at the end. That's a really cool trick that they do with the cinematography at the beginning of the movie, when you have this old man crying at someone's grave, and then you go, and then they don't say who it is exactly, but then you go back in time to Tom, and it stops. It goes from the old man's eyes to Tom Hanks' eyes. So it allows you to assume throughout the movie that his character is going to survive, but then at the end of the movie, you go back and you go from Ryan's eyes back to the old man's eyes, because we now know that it's actually Ryan at the captain's grave at the military. So that was really cleverly constructed misdirection.
Yeah. Did you want to like talk about the cast a little bit and some of the
for sure.
people who got cast in this?
Yeah.
Well, of course, Tom Hanks is a legend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Did you see Bryan Cranston in the beginning?
I saw Vin Diesel as well. This is like Vin Diesel.
Yeah. Vin Diesel. Yeah, Bryan Cranston.
Vin Diesel gets taken out like with the quickness, though.
Really quickly, yeah.
He doesn't last very long in this movie.
Yeah, he gets taken out by that sniper when he's trying to save that girl from her family.
He died for his heroism. It's sad.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Bryan Cranston's little role was cool too. Didn't he have one arm? And he
had one arm.
Yeah, and he was one of the office workers. And then when that secretary who's writing up the obituary type letters to the family members of the dead soldiers, he notices the 4 different, or maybe it's 3 different names, and then she gives it to her superior, and then it goes like 4 layers up, and then they construct that mission, right?
Mm-hmm. And then you have like the wannabe Ben Affleck.
Are you talking about the guy who abandons the mission at that one point?
That wants to abandon the mission, yeah. It's like a wannabe Ben Affleck type of guy.
He does kind of look like Ben Affleck, doesn't he? Yeah.
That's what I thought it was at first. I was like, Ben Affleck's in this movie? And then I went to look up like the cast. It's like, I can't see Ben Affleck here. Oh, it's somebody else.
My favorite part with him is when they're waiting for the Germans to attack near the end of the movie, and he's telling that story about when he's working in a store, and that woman with enormous tits comes in, and he's helping her try on a dress or something, and she says, "When you're over there and things are going bad, I want you to think about these, okay?" And I said, "What?" You don't remember that part?
No, I don't remember. I watched it too, and I don't remember that part.
When they're sitting around next to the record player before the Germans...
Oh, right before the Germans show up. Okay. Because I thought you were going to go into the story about Ryan and his brothers.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Like
that's a good one too. Yeah.
He's talking about a crazy lifestyle that he had back home. I was like, whoa, that's a way of living, I guess.
Well, like their brothers were spying on like one of their brothers about to get it on with this chick who got smacked in the face, like with the ugly tree branches. I was like, damn, that's
a hardcore story, but he's like laughing about it.
Yeah. Well, I got Paul Giamatti is in this movie.
Yeah, he's got that small role. I guess it's the first Allied group of soldiers that they meet after they go on their mission, right?
Well, it's the same group where Vin Diesel gets shot.
Right.
Ted Danson's in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was a crazy scene where the wall falls away and they're just like screaming at each other.
Yeah, what was up with that? Why are they like so confused? I like they're Why are they shouting? Shouldn't they be firing? Everyone
They
firing
were
at the
doing
same
a
time?
Mexican standoff to avoid everyone dying, I guess. And then the Ted Danson and his crew from above the bridge saved them by shooting the Germans.
Yeah, and then
Germans, and Joe Rogan, I heard Germans had like a tradition of having like duel to death or something like that. They would
dueling scars. Yeah.
dueling scars and stuff. So I was
Oh
thinking
yeah, the
they,
Nazis did, right? Yeah.
yeah, I was
Well,
thinking
those
the
are only the
Nazis.
high ranking ones, like the officers and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so do they have like some kind of weird honor code that was preventing them from firing their? I don't know what was
I
happening.
think they were just like, I don't know. They were afraid to start the fight because you saw they were scrambling for like weapons and stuff
Oh yeah,
because
yeah.
nobody was ready.
Yeah.
So, and I think because of the situation, like they probably wanted them to surrender, but I don't know. But yeah,
I think they like. I mean, we're just guessing, but it seemed to me like no one. They just wanted everyone to stand down because these two groups of at least 10 people on each side all had their weapons pointed at each other, so they knew that everyone would die if someone starts firing.
I have a new fun fact.
Yeah.
There were some people who were mad that were consultants to that movie. There were German consultants because all of the Germans in this movie have shaved heads. They're like buzz
Okay.
cuts. But the German consultant said that no, the standard haircut was 1 to 2 inches long. But
Okay.
Spielberg wanted them to look more evil, so he shaved all their heads.
Yeah. Well, they also have the in this movie they kind of have the propaganda uh historical retconning reasons for America fighting World War II in this too, as if America went in there to fight the Germans to save the Jews, whereas in reality they were just fighting. They didn't fight ostensibly to save the Jews at first. They started fighting because they were a threat to America because they had attacked Pearl Harbor. That's why they.
Well, the
That's why,
Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor,
yeah.
but the reason why they were brought into the war on the European side was because German submarines were like sinking American transports.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then another thing about that too, there was American propaganda that did use um, some of the Jewish stuff as a tool to recruit people, but it
Okay.
wasn't used heavily. But
Yeah.
Jews would have known, though. The Jews that were fighting on our side, they would have known what was going on because, of course, they
Yeah.
would have heard from their families and shit
Mhm.
about what was going on over there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a widespread known thing because Jews weren't exactly liked in the United States either at that time. Not to the effect that they would do like a Holocaust, but they were kind of pushed off to their little societies, and people
Yeah.
still like blame them for dumb shit.
So did
Yeah.
the Germans
Well,
have
when,
like colonies or stuff, like other colonies outside of Germany?
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Did
Like
they?
in
Yeah, I
Poland, they
think.
did.
Yeah, they like took over parts of Europe.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
So
I
and
have.
they were fighting
like
against
some of that, like some of that about America entering the war to save the Jews is propaganda, also because in general, all across the world, including America, there is a hell of a lot of popular anti-Semitism. So,
Mm,
like people, a lot of people in America were supportive of Hitler at first before he got into mass genocide and shit. And then throughout the war, the Nazis were hiding a lot of the truth about the concentration camps and the final solution and stuff.
hmm Yeah, well, people started to put two and two together once they saw all these Jews fleeing to the United States and other places.
Yeah.
But oh yeah, another fun fact about the movie. You know the beginning, like after they conquer the first hill, and the Germans are like trying to surrender, and there's like these two soldiers that are like trying to surrender, and they're like, "Hey, we don't," and the two like American soldiers like, "We don't understand you." Then they end up shooting them. When they were speaking, they weren't speaking German; they were speaking Czech.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Oh, that's interesting.
Which is why they didn't understand them.
Oh, okay. And they made that really fucked up joke too. The one guy said, "What were they saying?" And the other guy said, "Look, I washed for supper."
Yeah, so he didn't even know what they were saying actually.
Yeah. That's
he was just making a joke.
Another really interesting character in the movie is Upham, right? Because
Upham is like you get mad at him at the end of the movie.
Because he just pussies out and doesn't save everyone, and really allows the captain to die. And then that's the first time that he kills someone, which is that German guy
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie, who killed he killed the medic guy with the machine gun earlier, and then everyone wanted to kill him, but Upham kind of convinced the captain to let him go.
Right. As in the credits, he is known as Steamboat Willie. That's why I called him that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. Like they let him go, and then he goes back in, and he's like fighting with the rest of his crew, and then everybody warned him.
Yep.
That was a possibility, and it ends up biting Miller in the butt because that's the guy who killed him. And then Upham was like, "Fuck you," and he shot the guy. You get to see the guy get shot, but he shoots him.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing too. Like with Upham, how he's never killed any. He never kills anyone other than that one guy at the end of the
translator.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just brought along as the translator, and he's like obviously nowhere near as seasoned as these other guys. And we talked about that whole the Fubar thing is really interesting, and it's really interesting.
So like at the Fubar scene, so it was a U.S. general that was flying there and got Fubar'd, right?
Was that the first time, or was that the first time they said it? I don't remember whether that was the first time.
Yeah, the first time they said it, they were talking to, I think, the general about something.
Wasn't it? But didn't someone say it once before that? Like when they were walking through a field and someone said this mission is Fubar, and Upham asked what it was, and he said it's German. I thought maybe that was the first time, but maybe that I don't know. Maybe that happened after the plane thing.
Maybe.
I'm not that sure.
How about Tom Sizemore?
Yeah, he has a good role in this too.
Yeah, because I remember his most memorable for me war is you've seen Black Hawk Down, right?
Dad, you're unhooking my Ethernet.
Oh, you're like frozen. Are you back?
Yeah, someone disconnected my Ethernet cord.
Okay.
I've seen Black Hawk Down, and I remember Tom Sizemore in Enemy of the State, that movie with Will Smith too.
So yeah, I remember in Black Hawk Down, he was just like ridiculously reckless.
Yeah.
There's like firefights going on around, and he acts like nothing's happening, like no one's shooting at him. But yeah, he's
Black
kind of
Hawk
like
Down is Black Hawk Down as good as Saving Private Ryan, or
no?
I definitely don't think it is.
No, it's not. It's like kind of like a Michael Bay version of a war movie.
Yeah, well said. Yeah.
Well, who directs it? Is it Michael Bay or somebody else?
I don't think Michael Bay does, but let me check. I'm not sure who directed it.
Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, really?
Oh, okay.
When I say Michael Bay, I say Michael Bay because like there's explosions and dramatic like music in the Michael Bay-esque style.
Crazy explosions, like shock waves.
Yeah, I don't like it as much as
Saving
Black
Private
Hawk.
Ryan.
Yeah, Saving Private Ryan. Mostly because Black Hawk Down just feels like the sides that are fighting are equal. It's obvious that the Americans, even though there's like 20 of them, are like ridiculous. It's like playing Call of Duty Zombies. Like the people that they're fighting aren't well equipped or trained, and they just get like slaughtered by the thousands. It seems like.
Yeah.
It's like a Viking raid into some English village. Like
And also, like, I don't really remember any of the characters distinctly in Black Hawk Down. A lot of the main characters are all really well fleshed out in Saving Private Ryan. Like you can distinguish between them because they're different. Like Upham is a very interesting character. Tom Hanks's character is very interesting. Like that PTSD stuff we get into it more.
Shaky hand.
Yeah, how his hand just starts shaking sometimes, and then there's that one time where they're going through the dog tags to see if dead, and his hand is shaking when he's coming up with a plan, and he's got that compass out, and Tom Sizemore is good too. The Ben Affleck light guy. And the medic guy, the sniper guy is cool too.
Oh yeah, like they all have these really distinct personalities.
Yeah, he's like saying prayers before he shoots people. That's
also that
cool
part where on the beach they're trying to figure out where the shots are coming from, and he like has a mirror and he kind of holds it and tries to check it out, and it's like that. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was another cool little MacGyver thing that they did. Yeah.
And then Fish was a pretty cool character, and he shared his gum with the other guy.
Yeah.
Like, let me have some of that. It's like,
and that guy, he gets killed in a knife fight by that guy in the bell tower.
Oh, that scene was
the
crazy.
Jewish guy gets stabbed, and then Upham is just like whatever, like standing like a little bitch on the staircase, and he just lets like the German guy leave.
Yeah.
The German just like walks out of there like he's a cold assassin. Like, yeah.
No, that guy had to sing like the American national anthem or something, right? I would give him a pass for that.
No, that was a different guy. The guy that stabbed the Jewish guy is a different guy.
Oh yeah, that was a different guy.
They all look the same because all their heads are shaved.
I thought it was the same guy the first couple times I watched the movie too. I had to watch it like 4 times before I noticed that that's actually a different guy.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie is not the one who stabs.
There's like a scene where
Fish.
the Germans are like surrendering and they're like being taken out on a line to somewhere, and this guy's like, Juden.
Yeah.
Like what?
He's showing them that they're, and it's crazy because some of the Germans didn't even know. Like, they didn't know they know that there was kind of like prejudices against Jews, but a lot of them didn't know about like the extent of like the ghettos and the concentration camps.
Yeah, that's like near the end they discovered those, right? Or
yeah, you don't have to be a full-blown Nazi to like basically get drafted into the war like you were everywhere else. That's why
they would just pick anybody. It's like it became very authoritarian, where they were just throwing anybody in there.
Yeah.
There's like crazy theories based on which country you grew up. There's like crazy theories about World War II, about what happened in World War II. It's not the same everywhere. Like the history is different.
Yeah. Well, and there was because of that with the Germans, there was a lot of anti-German sentiment after World War II because people just assumed, oh, Germans are all Nazis. Didn't you know that? So
Yeah. So even Germans, like after they lost the war,
I've
like
heard a theory.
like military people, just like civilians, would get kicked out
Mhm.
of like other countries because of what happened.
Yeah.
I've heard a theory where they say the German top brass, they got shipped, they got converted into Judaism, and they got shipped later to Israel to
I
farm
don't
Israel.
think so.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
I know some of them escaped to South America and went to
Oh
like a
yeah, Argentina or something.
Nazi-ville.
Yeah. There are like over dramatized theories, and there's even a TV
A
show.
lot of them got sniped by
Yeah.
American laboratories.
Yeah. Like there, like Operation Paperclip, for example, is a famous one, right? Where Werner von Braun, who ran one of the Nazi rocket factories in Germany, famously, at the end of each workday, apparently, he would execute the four slowest workers. And he was a rocket scientist, and he was brought one of the Nazi scientists brought through Operation Paperclip to America after World War II, who worked with NASA and was one of the scientists who allowed America to go to the moon.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Isn't
Yeah.
there a Slayer song about the angel of death? It's about this guy called Joseph Mengele
Oh
who
yeah,
used
he
to
was.
experiment on bodies and stuff.
Yeah. There was some fucked up Nazi experiments, man. I read a book about that. I forget what it was called, but they it's some pretty terrifying shit because Nazis can do experiments on Jews because they're subhuman to them, right? So they can do experiments like see how long does it take to die for someone to die from freezing to death? How long does it take for someone to die from starvation? How long does it take for someone to be burned to death or something like, or all sorts of
Yeah.
terrifying shit like that, right?
What happens when you chop off a guy's arm and you don't give him medical attention?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's crazy shit like that. Or what happens if you make him drink bleach or inject X, Y, and Z chemical into them and see how they react to it after a while? It's
Oh,
like
they didn't
really
even
bad
need
stuff.
mice. They would just do it on people. That's nuts.
Basically, yeah. Anything they would use with mice, they did it on Jews.
Yeah.
People feel bad for mice already. That going to that level where you're doing it on a human. Yep, it's
There
nuts.
was I watched this documentary series. I forget what his name was, but it was about I think I'm getting some feedback there from you, Dusty.
Oh, sorry about that.
But it was about one of the like famous Nazis who ran one of the concentration camps. Ivan the Terrible was his nickname, yeah, because he would stand by the gas chambers and then execute any of the survivors with a sword. And there was a case about where this guy was accused of being that, and there was a long court case as to
What
determine
is
whether he was actually the guy or not, because he was supposedly this guy in America pretending to be an American and stuff like that, and that sort of stuff happened.
isn't Ivan the Terrible like a Russian guy
Yeah,
from
he nicknamed himself after him.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Interesting.
I did like there's some exaggerated theories, but I think it's loosely true that some of the like you guys were saying before, some of the Nazis escaped to other countries, including America, and then they assumed other identities, and some of them were found, and some of them were
Yeah,
never.
Eichmann was found in Argentina. Like his son was dating a Jewish girl, and
Oh wow.
somehow the dad was after questioning the boy was like, wait, that's like Hitler's second hand, like second in command. So then what are the Israeli CIA called? Anyways, they came and took the guy, kidnapped the guy to Israel to court.
No,
I
okay.
think the Israeli CIA starts with the M.
Oh yeah, the
Does it?
Mossad, right?
Oh yeah, this is totally off topic, but I'm watching a documentary series on Ghislaine Maxwell, and there's this one part that made me wonder where conspiracy theory maybe wonder if this is where conspiracy theories come from about Jeffrey Epstein being Israeli intelligence, because he apparently had some Israeli passports. There was a period of time once after he had already made a lot of money where he was doing arms deals with people, including a lot of Israeli diplomats and people like that. So he was doing a lot of high level arms deals with higher up members of the Israeli government. So I think it's more likely to just be that he has passports from when he was an arms dealer with Israel than that he was like some secret Israel secret agent. Even though he and Ghislaine Maxwell did do some entrapment shit where they had cameras all over their house and they had famous people,
That
including
sounds
sex
really
traffickers,
Mossadi,
underage girls. Mossad, that's what they're called. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what there was recently in my country. My country, if you have a Bengali passport, you can never go to Israel for whatever reasons, probably because we're Muslim. And
Oh wow.
then so there's like this, and everyone's supposed to, yeah. So there's like this the second in command of our supreme leader is that guy used to deal with the Mossad and like not the Mossad, with Israel, to buy equipment that could let you track people online, with keywords. You know
Oh.
how the NSA tracks US
Yeah.
citizens? So yeah, that guy tried to do that in like a third world, in Bangladesh.
Yeah, they have like some crazy software, those
Yeah.
Israelis. Like some spy software that they contract out with.
Yeah, probably the best in the world, probably. I don't know.
But I was gonna ask, like say if a Bengali like beat up, like they went to Israel and an Israel person started bothering them, and the Bengali just like punched the Israel person in the face. Would the Bengali say to the Israel person, "You just got banged"?
What, banged?
Yeah.
First of all, Bengali wouldn't be able to get there unless he has a US passport or something.
Uh,
And even then, that would be a risky thing because of he would obviously look Muslim to Israelis, and I don't know how racist they are. From what
they're
I've
pretty
seen,
racist.
that's pretty nuts. I don't even know if Bengali would be. I don't know. I wouldn't feel safe going, honestly, to go. Even though I am Bangladesh is an ethno state, kind of like Israel. I would still like feel. I wouldn't be comfortable going there. Honestly, it sounds racist, but I maybe in the future. Maybe in the future.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
But what would they say? They would say "Ki mother chot to putki mare" or something like that.
What's that mean?
That means motherfucker. I'm gonna fuck you in the ass right now.
Uh, well, it's kind of like you got banged.
Yeah. Bengalis are kind of dirty with their
With the
slangs.
swears.
Yeah, they take it to the next level. Even when they're like trying to do like a low level thing. Oh, you moron, or you dummy is like in the Bengali version would be really extreme. Would be
Yeah,
like,
American swears are pretty tame compared to other countries.
yeah.
Yeah, there's some pretty bad swears in Europe, and then Middle Eastern countries.
I just gotta go pee, guys. I'll be right back. You keep talking about swears in other countries.
No, I read this one book um, written by a gay dude named David Sedaris, and he wrote this one whole chapter on investigating different swears from other countries. So what he would do is basically he would just go to New York and ask like a bunch of cab drivers, because cab drivers tend to be immigrants, and he would ask them about the different types of swear words that they would have in their different countries. But
Oh, yeah,
he said like the taxi drivers had like the worst ones.
Oh wow. Why? Which country are the taxi drivers from? From various countries or?
Yeah, but various countries. But he said like the very worst words were from a Dutch guy. He said that this one Dutch guy probably had like the worst ones.
Oh
That
wow.
involved like mothers and drinking semen and some other stuff. I don't quite remember like the swear, but it's pretty elaborate.
Wow. Yeah, Bengalis, they don't like Bengalis, like Bengali moms and dads, they get really mad if they're super conservative, so they get really mad if you're using any slangs.
Mm,
But if you're in the when you're hanging with the boys,
with the Z.
thing, yeah, with the Z, with the I and a Z, it'd be you'd use some nasty words, yeah.
Okay.
Not nasty. Like I don't think about it in nasty. Like in American stand-up comedy, it's a lot more nastier, right? When some American stand-up comedians take it pretty far with like how rowdy their comedy is. So I don't think Bengalis are that rowdy. Maybe we need stand-up comedy there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyways, I really wanna go to Israel because all the Islamic prophets, besides like Muhammad, they're all Jews. So I wanna go check that out.
yeah, that's a good point. Jesus was a Jew.
Yeah, basically all the prophets in Islam are like Jew, except Muhammad. This is like the only guy that's not a Jew. And I find that fascinating.
Yeah. Why do you think there is anti-Semitism in Islam?
Is there?
I don't know. I don't know how much of the thing that actually is even really.
The Bengali version of Islam is like Sufi Islam, which is kind of different from the Sunni and the Shia ones.
Right. Yeah.
So, um, what I don't know from the Hadith, there's like some stories where Jews mistreat Muhammad. Like that's all that I can think of. And what else? I think it's mostly like modern, like watching videos of. There's a lot of propaganda, not propaganda. There's like footage of Israeli soldiers like shooting kids or like bombing Palestine and stuff. This they go around a lot. You would, if you live in the Muslim world, you're more likely to watch these videos. Like somehow you'll come across them. Someone would show you like, I don't know why. So it's almost like it's targeted. It's almost like there's a campaign of it. But yeah, that promotes a lot of anti-Semitism for sure.
Okay. Yeah, that reminds me of the whole like Israel Palestine situation, which just that's so politically polarized and just endlessly complex. I really don't know what to think, even though I've heard tons of people talk about it across the political spectrum.
Yeah, I mean, as long if I can see it, but from or someone I trust can videotape what's actually happening. It's all like I don't know. You have to take whatever side you trust and go with that info. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much.
I know that the Israelis are heavily equipped and they've got nukes and all that. So
Yeah, supposedly they have a lot more advanced weaponry than the Palestinians.
yeah, Palestinians recently have been getting really well equipped, but that's just recently. For most part of history, Israelis were just super. It was like a David versus Goliath scenario there. The Palestinians never had a shot until recently, I think. And yeah, I don't know. If the Israelis actually have nukes, then I don't know. I feel like then Iran has to have nukes and stuff like that. I guess Turkey does. Yeah, I don't know. This is too complicated for my little brain.
Yeah, foreign policy in general gets really fucking complex, and that one in particular, for me, I just find endlessly confusing.
Yeah.
What do you think about that whole situation, Dusty? You there, Dusty? Oh, hope he's still there, or his mic's working.
What I liked about... Okay, there you are.
Oh, there you are. What's up? Something going wrong with your sound there, Dusty? No, you're cutting in and out. You go ahead with what you were gonna say there.
Oh yeah, like one of the interesting things that I thought is like the World War II, and after World War II, a lot Britain like stopped being like a super colonialist. They started backing out after that war. They started backing out of most of their colonies.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. The like around World War II was it kind of coincided with the shrinking of the British Empire and the growth and military expansion of the American Empire, right? Especially leading into the Cold War.
Yeah. American Empire, I think, is kind of, yeah, it's like UK 2.0. They just do everything a bit better.
Yeah. Yeah, well said. Yeah. And now people are panicking, like Americans are panicking because they act like, oh, our empire is going to collapse now, man. Oh, it would be the end of the world.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, dude. It's not the end of the world, of course. It's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been so dominant and they feel so secure. Like they've got just so much resources, and they've been, for the most part of history, not most part of history, recent history, they've been pretty secure, right?
Yeah.
Just geographically, they're separated from the rest of the world. They don't have to worry about rest of the world like other countries do. Like,
yeah. I mean, like even if America ends up not being the leader of the world anymore, it's not like the world's gonna collapse or anything like that. It means power will be more equally distributed, and maybe looking at history, there will be another massive empire who ends up controlling most of the world.
I mean, yeah, India and China already have each other to worry about, so
yeah,
I feel kind of secure that way. That yeah, there's like nuclear armed countries that can shoot rockets into moon. There's a few of those countries right now, so I'm not that worried about China just going on a rampage. Yeah.
And like the U.S. doesn't need to be involved, in my opinion, with all of those wars in the Middle East, like you said, between India and China and Russia and Iran and Iraq and Afghanistan and all of this stuff going on there. Oh, there's Dusty again.
Yep.
Hey, you get kicked out there, Dusty?
Oh, you're muted, Dusty.
Your sound working, Dusty?
Recently I was seeing Iran has their space program now. They're shooting rockets.
Oh, their Space Force?
Not Space Force,
Can you
just
hear me now?
rockets into space.
Yeah, I can hear you now, Dusty.
I don't know. My microphone is not working anymore for some reason.
Oh, that's weird. Oh, so you mean Iran has a space program, Scazio?
Yeah, they have a space program.
Okay.
That's just started. It's not as sophisticated as SpaceX or the Russian one.
Yeah, of course. It's funny, people are so politically polarized about Elon Musk too. It's kind of funny. Like
That guy's a legit good force on Earth, I feel like.
I think he's I just kind of have I guess kind of a nuanced point on him. I think he's doing a lot of really cool and interesting and good things, but he's not like a superhero or a genius or anything like that. But
He
he's
knows how
also
to
not,
get
and
the team.
he does some fucked up typical rich people stuff like manipulating his taxes. But that doesn't mean he's like some super villain either. People seem to have this opinion that he's like a superhero or a super villain.
Yeah. Yeah, I idolize him too much. He's not the brains behind everything. He's hiring the right people, right?
Here's
Yeah,
what I'll say. I think once the other car companies catch up technologically, that Tesla is probably going to die off.
Yeah, I feel like and it was open source, right? Tesla's technology is open source.
is it?
I have no idea. I don't know. It's just
I've
that
heard
the customer
I've heard
service
people
sucks.
theorize, and these are people, and take this with like a pound of salt because it's from people who don't like Elon Musk, but they were theorizing that he would try to, like, in terms of setting up the infrastructure for charging electric cars, that he would try to arrange some sort of what do you call those, like some sort of like
Cartel?
government subsidies or something specifically to Tesla to build the infrastructure for the charging ports for electric cars. I don't know how realistic of an expectation or how of a possibility that is, though.
Oh, that could happen.
You know what? He's probably trying to control or patent a device. Like, so, say he gets control of building all of these charging ports. He'll probably make it so that every car that uses that ports needs some part made by Tesla. So that's talking about any car company that makes them make electric vehicles.
He's ahead of the curve, right?
That's within the realm of possibility. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I
I
can
don't
see
know.
like Mercedes making cool electric cars and those becoming more popular than Tesla. I mean, the Teslas don't look that good, really. They're all right.
No, Teslas are ugly as hell. Like, personally, I don't like the way they look.
Like I don't drive much anymore, but if I were to get a car again, I wouldn't be sold on getting an electric one yet because I would want to be able to take it on long trips.
Oh yeah, I would feel nervous. Like, oh, where's the nearest? I have to plan You'd have to plan everything out, right? That's such a pain. It's like,
Yeah. It would work fine for when you're just driving around town, but if you want to go on a road trip somewhere, it wouldn't be good.
yeah, sometimes you just want to drive and like experience life. You don't want to worry about this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh. Yeah,
So
I feel like. Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
go ahead.
I feel like I really like the American muscle cars, but I know it's like really bad for the environment. It's not that
Yeah.
good.
They're
Yeah.
pretty cool though. Badass muscle cars for sure.
Yeah.
I've never driven one of those before, but I bet they'd be fucking fun to drive. I like driving a standard just in general, and if you have like one of those classic muscle cars and you have to drive it in standard, that would be super fun to drive.
Well, I know now they're making kind of like crappier versions because I know there's like a 4-cylinder Mustang now, and then now they make like some weird electric hybrid like crossover Mustang that looks ugly. Like, I think just in general crossovers are ugly.
Yeah,
It's like everyone wants to make a crossover. Like, one of the most ugly crossovers is the one that Porsche makes. It's like just super ugly looking.
so a lot of those things now like are crossover things that I don't even know what to call the specific type of vehicle. It's like super popular now. It's like
They just call them crossovers. That's what they call them.
some combination of like a car with a car with a Jeep or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like big cars with big backs in them.
Yeah, they just call them crossovers.
Oh, okay.
That's what they call
Crossovers
them.
are pretty cool. I don't know. I feel
I
like
don't like
they're
crossovers. It's like over here, that's all I see. Where I live, it's just crossovers, and you have like some people. It's mostly where I live. It's mostly crossovers, and then people with like muscle cars. I'm not talking about like old muscle cars. I'm talking about like newer Mustangs and
Oh,
Camaros
okay.
and
I'd say
stuff like
where
that.
I live, it's mostly crossovers and pickup trucks because I live in hick country.
Well, you get your occasional. You get lots of Hondas and crap too. But I don't know. I was gonna say about the movie. Um, when I was watching the very intro, like when they're like about to storm the beach, it reminded me of that Eminem song, "Lose Yourself."
That would be perfect, a perfect soundtrack for that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
because
could
they're
see
like
that.
all thrown up, and I was like, "Oh, mom, spaghetti."
Yep,
Nervous,
bumming
like
in a sweater
sweating,
already.
nervous. Mom, spaghetti.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you
Where did
could
you guys
basically
watch
just run
this
this
one?
track during this
Hmm?
segment and it would go
Oh,
perfectly.
I watched this on Netflix.
It was on Netflix. Oh, Canadian Netflix.
Yeah. Did
Yeah,
you
I had to
find it
get it
on?
from the secret
Oh, okay.
site.
It wasn't on American Netflix.
I
Nope.
watched it on Pluto TV. I had to watch a lot of ads.
Oh, okay.
A lot of Volkswagen ads. Like
I have a
Volkswagen ads.
copy.
Dang, so the movie's like 3 hours. So how long did it take you to watch the movie?
I definitely wasn't paying 100% attention all the time. Sometimes I was
No.
like, okay, Volkswagen ad again, all right.
I have a copy of it on DVD too, because it's
Uh,
definitely worth owning in my opinion. I think this time watching it might have been the first time when I got super baked beforehand. So especially in the first scene when they're assaulting the beaches on D-Day, I just had my hands like this the whole time. I was like, holy shit, fuck, don't go to war, man.
I believe that that scene from the movie heavily influenced World War II video games from then on out.
Oh, I bet it definitely did.
did
Yeah.
you guys ever play that game Medal of Honor?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've played it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
played it.
that was a good World War II game. It had like allies and Axis faction. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, the very
Yeah.
first two Call of Duties at least had some beach storming in it.
Yeah, yeah.
People forget that Call of Duty started in making with World War II games,
Yeah, I
but
played the
now
first one. That was World War II.
A lot of them
the
were World War II at first, weren't they? The Call of Duty games?
first three Call of Duties were World War II, and then there was World at War, which was I guess Call of Duty 5, if you want
I
to give
think
it
I
a number.
mostly played the earliest ones.
Yeah, Call of Duty 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I know 2 was
Ooh.
like a launch title for like the Xbox 360.
But man, playing zombies on Call of Duty Black Ops is like the fucking funnest thing ever. I would almost get because I haven't had one of the newer generation of game systems in a long time. I would almost get one of those just to play zombies on Black Ops because just going around killing zombies is super fun.
Yeah, the newer generation systems all play the old games.
Right.
Not the physical games, but you can get some type of downloaded version onto a console
Oh,
of
okay.
those older titles.
I would definitely want to play some of the classics that I played all the time on Xbox too, like Fable and Halo and Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh yeah, it was good.
I think they re-released Knights of the Old Republic for the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I know you could play it for PC. You can also play it for free if you have an Amazon tablet, because the Amazon kind of has their own ecosystem on their Fire tablets, and Knights of the Old Republic is one of the free games you can put on your tablet.
Oh, you can play that on an Amazon tablet? Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you have I don't know if you need a Prime account or not, but yeah, you can get it for free.
I wish I had an Amazon tablet.
They go for really cheap as fuck when they're on sale. Like you can get a 10-inch one for like $50 or $60.
Dude, I ordered one and Amazon sent me like 2 of those. So I was like,
oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Send me the other one.
They accidentally sold you 2?
Yeah, they gave me 2 of those. Yeah, I gave one away. When I went to my Bangladesh, I gave one away and they were like, "Wow, you're going to give me such an expensive gift." I was like, "Yeah, I can." I can do that. Like, wow. All right. That was a legendary moment.
Yeah, they go on sale, Andrew. Like the Fire tablets are actually cheaper than their e-readers. The e-readers are a bit more expensive.
You use do you have both of those separately, or do you just use the Fire tablet as your e-reader too?
I use them for different purposes. Like I have 4 tablets, so I have 2 10-inch tablets. I got one 8-inch tablet, and then the Paperwhite, which is the e-reader.
Okay.
And out of all of those things, yeah, the Paperwhite is the most expensive one that I have, even though it's just an e-reader. But I like it because I can get a shitload of books from my library and I never have to return them because I don't connect my e-reader to the internet.
Right.
And in order to trigger the return, your e-reader has to be connected to the internet. So all of my ebooks, I have like a giant library that's just sitting on there well, even if I do connect it to the internet, what it does is all the ones that are expired, it will delete them off of my tablet.
Yeah.
But all I have to do is just hook my tablet back up to my computer and move all my books back on there again.
You did that already before, right?
Yeah, my daughter accidentally turned on the Wi-Fi on my Paperwhite. I was like super pissed. I didn't get pissed at her, but I was like, all my books are gone.
Oh,
and then I was like, okay, let me try this experiment. So I just went and turned the internet off on there again. And then I moved all of the books back to the e-reader and boom, they were back on again.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's a huge save.
Yeah, so I was like, man, I'm gonna have to check out all those books over again just to do all this crap. And no, I didn't have to.
Pretty awesome that you can keep them and send so many books to me.
Yeah, but you need to get yourself a tablet that's not connected to the internet.
Yeah, so I can have them all permanently too. I've already had to delete some of them because they were taking up too much space on my phone, and I couldn't even download any newer audiobooks.
Oh, you're talking about audiobooks, yeah. I was talking about the ebooks.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, like the ebooks, you need would need an e-reader. I believe a Fire tablet would work too. You just have to make sure it's not connected to the internet.
I have an old e-reader that I haven't used in a long time. I don't think it's probably too old to work for something like that, though. I bet.
I don't know. Is it an Amazon one or a different company?
No, I think it's a Kindle.
A Kindle's Amazon.
Pretty sure it's a No, it's a Kobo.
Oh yeah, so I'm not sure if Amazon's Kindle books would work on that.
I used to have a Kindle, I think. Yeah.
I have a Kindle that I put so I go to a super secret site and sometimes get a book, just to check it out so I can decide to buy it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I definitely still.
I actually do that sometimes. Like the ones that you sent me that have become some of my favorite books of all time, like the Dresden Files, for example. I definitely am buying all of those at some point.
Yeah, I believe I will too. I just need more shelf space. Yeah, I have like just stacks of books that aren't in shelves because I don't have
Yeah,
any
I
shelf
do
space
too.
anymore.
Like the last couple years or so, I've gotten into the habit of reading a book and then making a new pile instead of putting it back on the shelf because I don't want to reorganize my shelf.
Yeah,
All my
but yeah, I highly
college
recommend the
textbooks
Kindles, man.
and
Yeah.
all my college textbooks and all the fantasy novels I read and sci-fi novels I read, my uncle like took all of that and donated it to a library in Southern California.
Oh,
At one point, it's like, yeah, that was like a heart killer for me. Like after that, I've been, staying off physical books and
so no one can fucking steal them from you and give them
yeah,
away.
yeah.
Well, half of my, at least half or more of my library are books that I got from my library.
Yeah, you can get
As
them for cheap there or for free or something.
cheap or free. Like I've gotten probably like 5 Wheel of Time hardcovers for like $1 each. Um, I have like a couple Sword of Truth books I got for free. A
I
couple
got
of Game of
six, I
Thrones
got the
books.
first 6 for free.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I got 2 and 3. I bought like 3 Game of Thrones hardbacks for like $1 a piece, and I got like
Oh, I
just a
had
bunch
the
of.
whole Song of Fire and Ice. Yeah, I had the Song of Fire and Ice set.
Oh yeah, I think yeah, I got all of those for cheap too, like at secondhand bookstores mostly.
Yeah. So right now, I just collect hardcovers, and typically I don't even read them. I just have them there on the shelf to look nice.
Oh, okay.
Because when I read, I prefer like a paperback or an ebook to hardcover.
I think
I
I'm just
read.
gonna buy a huge set of encyclopedias, and that's gonna be my bookshelf at some point.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah,
The World Book.
I'll read I guess I guess I maybe kind of prefer paperback because sometimes I'm reading them reading my book just while holding it in one hand while I'm also drinking a cup of coffee or doing something else. But the hardcovers are harder to do that with.
Yeah, they're just unwieldy. It's hard to travel with them. It's hard to prop them up with one hand, depending on how big of a book is. Like I know I've read a couple hardcovers. Usually they're smaller books, like the Culture Code or something like that. That's like 300 or less pages. But those giant fantasy tomes, yeah, you can't really read those with one hand.
I still
Just when I
definitely
get
read that. I still definitely do it anyway, though. Just hurts my hand
a,
after a while.
for a fantasy hardcover,
Yeah, I've done that with
geez.
like the biggest one I've done that with is the big illustrated hardcover edition I have of the Lord of the Rings. I've done that before. I've like read that with one hand while I'm taking a shit.
Yeah, that would be some work. That's why I kind of like the Kindle because it's light. It's easy to use with one hand. It's waterproof. Well, at least
Yeah,
the one I have is waterproof. Easy to bookmark stuff. Like the last page is the last page you read. You don't have to kind of open a book and just like look for it or
right.
bookmark it. You can highlight stuff really easily. Uh,
I guess there's something that I always find aesthetically pleasing about just the feel of holding a real book and reading a real book in my hands.
Also, the smell, right? It smells a certain way. That
Yeah,
smells
it
good.
does.
Yeah.
but then you can read it in bed because it has a light on it, a
True. You
backlight.
get book lights too, but it
Well, I
doesn't
have book
from the
lights.
screen itself that way if you're just talking about a book light.
Yeah, because I have book lights, but it gets real annoying when the book light is like low on power and like the light is like super dim, but you're like too lazy to recharge the battery.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but nomad type peoples, they need their paper whites. It's a good invention.
Yeah, because you got like a shitload of books all in this one little device.
Yes. In
I do love that they just like in the same way that I just find it aesthetically pleasing, the sensation of holding a book while I'm reading it. I also just like, even if it's a super long epic fantasy book, just carrying a heavy book around. There's something that I like about that too.
Well, yeah, I used to do that at work. And then I was like, you know what? I don't want to fuck up my paperback, so I'll just get because I creased like some of my covers reading and like trying to transport the book in a backpack, or my daughter finds a book and just like drops it, and then like the front cover gets folded in half.
Mm-hmm.
So I just put like my books tucked away in a corner so they stay nice, and then I just use that paperweight, man.
Yeah. I bring books places when I go anywhere, but I don't leave my house that often, so it's not much of a big deal that way.
Right. Yeah, because I like taking my paperweight to work, and it's like a super inconspicuous device. Nobody knows what I'm reading.
It has a long charge, right? Those.
Yeah, like I charge it like maybe once every other month or so.
It's pretty effective.
So
I bet astronauts use that as well. The ones in the space station. I don't know.
that makes sense. They can have internet up there too.
Like if you're ever gonna travel to space, then you're gonna need one of those handy.
Yeah, and then you have your instant dictionary right there on your
instant dictionary. That
on your
feature is so
Kindle.
awesome.
Yeah, I do like that too when I'm reading an ebook. Usually if I'm reading a physical book and I see a word I don't recognize, I fold the page over and then intend to look it up when I'm done reading the book, but then sometimes don't get around to it.
Yeah, the instant dictionary is great, but sometimes it doesn't work because when I'm on okay, so Kindle books also have an X-ray feature. Some of them do. So, like you can highlight a character's name and it'll give you like a bio of that character.
Wow.
That only works if you're
Wow.
connected to the internet, though. So I'm not connected to the internet, so none of the X-ray stuff works.
Oh, okay.
But
what was
I
the
might
exact model of what is it called? A Kindle Paperwhite?
a paperweight. Yeah.
Okay.
And my one doesn't even have. I think it's an older one. My one doesn't have lighting, but it has a dictionary in it. But it's like small.
They
It's
make
pretty
different
small.
types of Kindles. Like the paperweight is like the second, because there's another model above it. It's called the Oasis, but
Yeah,
my
mine was like
model is
pretty
like one
tiny.
below. Yeah, it's small.
Yeah.
It's like it fits in the palm of your hand. Mine's small too.
So
Like,
I need to buy a newer version.
yeah, I'll show you what mine looks like.
Hmm.
So here I'm
That's
at
one of those.
work. I'm at work real quick.
Sweet.
Folds over. This is it. This is waking up.
Okay.
And it's black and white. So
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
it's not
But
that
if you were
big.
connected to the internet, you could see the bio of a character, huh?
Like if I highlighted the character's like name, it would tell me some information about the character. Because there's like some books I'll read and I completely forget because there's like so many different goddamn characters.
Like with any
Wheel of
Time book.
Yeah, like a Wheel of Time book or what's the other series? Malazan has a bunch of fucking characters in it that I always forget who are who.
Yeah, and Malazan, that thing's really handy.
Yeah, so like if you highlight the character's name or like a race of a character or a town or a city, like a fictional city, in the X-ray mode, it'll tell you a little bit about that. So like if you get lost on like the names of cities and towns and races and magic stuff and all that, you can just click on it and it'll tell you a little bit about it to kind of refresh your memory.
Yeah.
You're making me excited to talk about Wheel of Time episode 7 tomorrow, Dusty.
You watched that, right? You thought it was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it was a good episode.
It was, yeah. I like the.
It's funny.
I like how it's basically confirmed now that yes, they are keeping Rand as the Dragon Reborn. They're not.
Yeah, like I knew that was gonna be the case. It's just that people were super anxious because Egwene was part of the candidates of the Dragon
sure.
Reborn.
They were all candidates, and she was
gonna stop watching the show if they make Egwene the dragon.
I would, man. That's not.
It's not like they were going to.
What?
It's not like they were going to.
Yeah, I didn't really think they were either, but if they had done that, I would not have liked it.
You'd be pissed off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. I had no doubts that it was going to be Rand. I just thought they threw Egwene in there to like mix it up a bit.
Yeah, and they did a good job of that too. That's one thing I'm excited to talk about with you and Tristram tomorrow, and I'm excited to get his hot takes too. Because
yeah, he said he had some issues with it.
The way that they did that was actually throughout the first season. I think it was really clever misdirection with the way that they did it. I can see how they kind of like just put that in at the very end of the episode, and it could seem sudden to some people, though. I could see that.
Well, it's interesting that there is a scene that happened in the first episode, and they saved it. Did you notice that?
No.
The scene where Rand is taking his dad back to the village.
Oh yeah. I did notice that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and they
highlight the Herod marked blade, and then that at the end of the episode, I love how they do that too. They go back to the flashback where they have him take off his helmet as he's the guy who has helped Rand's mother.
Mm-hmm. Do you watch the show?
I watched the first episode. That was pretty good. Wheel of Time.
Yeah.
What are those Minotaur, satyr-looking Minotaur types called?
Those are Trollocs, man.
Dude, wait till you get to episode 4. Best episode of the season, for fucking sure. Epic magic battles all over the fucking place.
You think it's better than episode 7? Still?
Yeah, I like it more than episode 7. Yeah.
It went this far? They went to episode 7? Oh, is the whole season out?
No, they're releasing it one at a time.
Yeah, one per week. There's only one more. There are only 8 episodes per season.
Oh, sweet. I love watching like a show in like one sitting instead of a season in a sitting instead of like waiting a week. I feel I get too thirsty.
Yeah, but that's like how you were talking earlier about how like you have an addicted personality and I don't, because I don't like I don't like binge watching shows. Because I have the instinct to watch another episode if I've just watched a good episode of something, but then I think, yeah, but then I'll run out of them really quickly and I won't have any more to watch.
One of the things I really, really, really appreciate about them releasing it weekly is that the community surrounding the show, just like how people produce content based off of watching the show.
Yeah.
So instead of people doing a full season review, like that's usually what happens when people drop a show.
Yeah, that happened in Game of Thrones. Like there was a whole ecosystem surrounding like post-episode discussions and pre-episode discussions. Like
there's lots of that happening with Wheel of Time for sure.
Yeah, so that's what I like about it, because content creators will make shows based off of episodes instead of seasons.
Yeah.
And then you get to hear people's analysis on different episodes, because people like the people who have not read the books, they're coming up with all these crazy theories about what's going on, and it's super entertaining for people who've read the books, who know what's going to happen, just to see these people theorize about things online.
And that's to me equally as entertaining as seeing like the deep dive analyses of people like Daniel Green and the people on the Want Spoilers podcast who have read the books, and them talking about their opinions on the similarities and differences between the books and the show.
Yeah, I really look forward to watching the Everyday Negroes every
they're,
week.
they're always great. I just watched the episode 7 one earlier today.
Oh yeah, did you see how shocked they were when they saw that Rand was the dragon?
Yeah. It's awesome.
I guess we'll talk about this later because I was really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that there's more to it than what was shown, especially for next episode. Because I've actually already seen a teaser for next episode.
Oh, okay.
And it looks like they are going to do like a Tarwin's Gap battle or something like that.
Oh, that's pretty good.
The Blight. What do you think about the first look on that?
I liked it. I liked the way they did the Blade, and I liked the Ways and Machin Shin.
Okay, so you did like the Ways and the Blight and everything. Because I know some people were like complaining about the Ways.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see their points, but I think they did a decent job. Like, they kind of got the sense of what it's supposed to be like. It seemed that way to me anyway.
Right. But yeah, man, I'm going to be excited to talk about that tomorrow. I really loved the favorite cold opening for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
That guy you guys talk with, what's his name? Tristram, right?
Tristram, yeah.
He's also like, he's read Malazan?
Yeah, I think he has. I'm not sure though. Do you know if he has, Dusty? He's read like a lot of different fantasy series for sure.
Yeah, he's read Malazan. I've mentioned it to him. He's read it.
It should be interesting to talk to him
about Malazan.
Yeah, I still haven't even finished the first book because I got like sidetracked with
other. Yeah, me neither. Maybe we should do a book chat about the Malazan series at some point, because I haven't read book 1 yet either. But
I might have to just break down and buy the Audible book for it.
The Malazan, the problem is they just have so much build-up, and it's not like, it doesn't have the pacing of Wheel of Time, at least from what I can tell from the episode. But each Malazan, as they build all these characters up, and near the end, before it just gets really juicy, like at like 60% or 70%, all the characters starts, like all the plot starts to like merge, and they have this like tornado like plot thing going on. It's called a convergence.
Yeah,
and it's just amazing at the end. But you have to go through that slow build up of all this characters going on.
The slow build-ups bother me sometimes. I can handle
the first book, there's some combat in the first book.
Oh yeah, the first.
But there's also like these characters that don't do much of anything.
That usually annoys me.
Like one of them's a thief. I was like, why are we even following this guy? He's not even doing anything interesting.
Some of those characters are just like fodder throughout the series, but some of those characters actually like become really important. So later on, they become important. So
that's kind of similar to the Wheel of Time too. There are a lot of minor characters that become way more important later on in the series. And one of the things that they're doing in the show that I actually like is establishing the importance of those characters much earlier on, and which I think makes it's better, because it makes it easier to distinguish between the characters. And there is an enormous amount of characters in the entire Wheel of Time.
That's ridiculous amount of characters in Wheel of Time. There's like over 2,000 named characters.
Yeah,
wow, what?
Crazy.
And, and a named character might just appear
a lot
on
more
one
than
page.
Malazan.
You don't need to remember most of the named characters though. They're not like it'll be like a butler comes in for like 3 pages, something like that, and that's the only time he ever
could also be a butler who comes in for 3 pages, who comes back 5 books later and becomes a really important character for that book.
Talking about like Basil Gill or something,
Well, I don't know.
or
There's
Leany.
examples. Yeah,
Well, there's
probably.
like super minor characters too that get killed off, but there's like a bunch of Aes Sedai, like inconsequential Aes Sedai. Like I think every single time an Aes Sedai is mentioned, they're named,
Yeah,
except like when Rand gets captured. Not all of them are named, but a lot of them are.
yeah.
Oh, so many characters. At least like they're condensing things, and I guess they're making it less confusing for
Yeah, they really are. I really
non-readers.
appreciate that because, like,
And then
I've read the
the
whole. I've
hardcore
read.
book readers are getting so mad though. It's
I know, but like, you got to treat it as an adaptation, or as Brandon Sanderson said, it's another spinning of the wheel.
yeah, a lot of people got mad at Moraine and Swan kissing.
Well, they're just puritanical nerds.
Yeah.
I like.
Okay,
There's some lesbianage in the show. Just to
Oh
let you
yeah,
know.
Sheezan hasn't gotten to that part. Look forward to that too.
they're in season 1 or what?
This
Yeah,
is season
one.
1.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
Well, this show is not going to have explicit sex scenes in it,
No.
ever, and that's because the source material didn't really have any of that in it, and
Yeah.
I'm guessing they're kind of respecting that part of the source material.
Yeah, it seems that way. Yeah, and they're more PG-13 in terms of sex, definitely in comparison to something like Game of Thrones.
Well,
Like
they'll show like they showed side boob, or did they show front boob?
yeah, no, in that one episode there was one chick who was full front. No, she just was topless.
Oh, and they cast her because she had some tegos,
Yeah, of
because
course.
they were like not normal size boobs.
Of course.
That's funny. Like, oh yeah, we need to have a topless bath person, but of course we're not going to grab anyone flat chested. They have to have massive knockers in order to appear on screen.
Would have been
So
nice to see the lineup for the audition for that role.
yeah, they had that, and that yeah, they had to basically do a knocker audition or a boob audition.
Yeah. Doing an audition for women with big
Well,
tits.
but the casting director is probably a woman anyway. So
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
and Rafe is gay, so
Okay. Well, it's
doesn't
not
like
like
the
it's not
titties.
like they were gonna show them their titties either. Probably. I mean, I doubt that would be part of the audition.
Well, they would have to, right? Because what if what if one of the titties is like half the size of the other,
I
or
guess.
like
Yeah. I don't know.
severely malformed, or like it has a different color nipple or something
You don't think
on
they would
one?
just like try to see with like through a low cut shirt or something like that?
No, they would have to see him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. That's
Like if that's what you're being, if that is the role,
that just seems like inevitably creepy. It makes me think of Showgirls.
oh
That
yeah,
scene in Showgirls, remember? Where they all have to take their tops off.
yeah, that's like the dumbest movie.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. That would be interesting. That would be interesting to ask. Like if Rafe ever did an AMA, ask him like how do they get cast for those
Yeah.
roles? Like what's the process?
Did
Or
you do
anyone who's done
Showgirls style
casting like
topless
that.
auditions?
Yeah, maybe you can ask like next time you talk to Jared, maybe he might have some insight on that.
Yeah, maybe. He does know some Hollywood people.
Yeah, he might know how people get cast for those roles or how those auditions are.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta show one boob, just one boob here. We get a picture, as we gotta compare your boobs to other boobs to see which boob is gonna be the winner of this spot here.
It sounds like the setup for like some guy in a porn where in those porn where they supposedly get random women from on the street who are probably actually just porn stars who are pretending to be women on the street.
Oh, like casting couch videos.
Yeah, those sorts of things.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how they would cast for that. Like, I don't know. if they actually need to see them or what.
Guys, I
Probably.
think I'm gonna be off. I'm kind of late over here. I'm gonna go to bed. You guys
Okay.
have fun. All right,
All
man.
We
right,
stopped
man.
talking about the movie a while ago anyway. Actually, just before you
Well,
go though,
we got to say at least something from the movie.
just
So, what
before
was
you
your
go
favorite
though,
scene, man?
yeah,
What
that's
was
what
your
I was
favorite
gonna ask
scene?
you. Before I wanted to ask both of you guys also, like, what was your favorite scene? And also, since we talked about Apocalypse Now, how would you rate it in comparison to Apocalypse Now? Because I actually like Apocalypse Now even more than this. It's definitely become my favorite war movie, even though for a long time Saving Private Ryan used to be my favorite.
I still like this more than Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better
Yeah.
than Apocalypse Now. It's like a more fair battle going on. Apocalypse Now feels like a bunch of guys going to the safari park to, I don't know, hunt some animals or whatever. It's like it's that level of competition. Like, yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, I don't like that. All right, man. Peace.
All
It's
right.
not stupid. I don't think it's stupid, but it's
I
Yeah.
would.
definitely like.
It shows the nature of I don't know how this. I don't know. I'm being biased. All right. I'm gonna go. I'm really sleepy. I'm
Okay.
really sleepy. I gotta take my nap.
Okay.
All right,
Have a
guys.
good night, man.
All right,
We're
take it
talking.
easy.
All right. So what about you, Dusty? What was your favorite scene? And you like this more than Apocalypse Now?
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Apocalypse Now just makes me feel bad. Um, I don't know what it is. It's just when you look at that movie, it's just the whole war seems pointless and stupid, and um, yeah, the ending is like weird, and I don't know. It's just like Apocalypse Now is just super dark. I know
It really is.
Saving
Yeah.
Private Ryan is dark too, but the whole mission is about saving somebody. You know, they're trying to. There's like this noble cause, and then they have like this kind of like conflict with that particular cause.
Yeah.
Um, and I like that it's an ensemble that focuses on many different characters,
Yeah.
whereas Apocalypse Now mainly focuses on the one weird. Well, one, the guy's fucking weird to begin with.
Yeah.
Because he's like weirdly, there's like a, well, he's like doing drugs and he's kind of like weirdly narcissistic and he's doing like shadow kung fu in a mirror. It's kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
totally fine. He's like totally fucked up from war already before the movie starts. For
Yeah,
sure.
and then there's like rape in the movie, and then that makes you feel really uncomfortable. And then like killing like defenseless civilians, makes you feel really uncomfortable. Like I think I even like Full Metal Jacket more than Apocalypse Now.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like some people say, uh I like the very first part, like the boot camp part of Full Metal Jacket, way more than the rest of the movie. And
oh, I like both parts of the movie.
I like it. I like both Saving Private Ryan and Apocalypse Now more than Full Metal Jacket.
Uh,
Full Metal Jacket's good too, though.
yeah, like I liked how crazy the end was in that movie.
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's like, wow, this is. Well, anyway, I gotta watch that movie again. I haven't watched that in a while.
Yeah, me neither.
Um, what is it about Apocalypse Now? I don't know. Apocalypse Now, I don't know what version I watched, but it seemed like super long,
It
and
is super long. Yeah.
like some of the pacing was just weird, and then the end was just weird. You know,
Well, I
I
like
don't
that.
know.
I just like how dark and symbolic is. Like I like it as a. Uh, it's my favorite war movie because it's so fucking dark and fucked up. And I think like the best kind of war movie should be as discouraging as possible about war and be like the most anti-war movie. And Apocalypse Now is definitely even more of an anti-war movie than Saving Private Ryan, in my opinion.
Maybe. Yeah, it's definitely strange. I can say that much.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
And I definitely love Saving Private Ryan for sure, though. Like it until I rewatched Apocalypse Now for the second or third time most recently, my favorite war movie was Saving Private Ryan for most of my life. So I definitely love it. It's a fucking great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I just feel I know you shouldn't feel good about watching a war movie because
Yeah.
that's not really what it's about. Um, I like the humanity on display, at
Yeah,
least
like
in Saving Private Ryan.
the characters are human and you're rooting for them in Saving Private Ryan. Like, and none of the characters are redeemable in Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, they're all like bad. Like
Yeah.
even the main characters, like what's wrong with that guy?
Yeah. Well, you
um,
see, especially at that part where he just kills that woman when they're on the boat and they come across that other boat when
right.
everyone else is arguing about it. You see how fucking dark and fucked up he is.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, man. It's like, okay, I'm on a mission to find this one person. Like they're both on the mission to find a person. It's just like, which journey do you enjoy more?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess.
yeah,
I think I liked the Ryan journey mostly because I like seeing because when you think of war, like Vietnam is completely unjustifiable. Um, so you shouldn't feel good about it at all. And I think Full Metal Jacket does the same thing. Um, because you have that one moment where they're up against a sniper, and the sniper is just like some poor Vietnamese woman.
hmm
So I don't know. It just kind of does the same for me, I guess. And then the first half of the movie is so damn good. It's like,
yeah,
wow, it's just freaking amazing that first half of the movie, the boot camp.
yeah, yeah. It definitely is.
It's like half the movie is about boot camp. It's
That's my
crazy.
favorite. That's definitely my favorite part of the movie.
Yeah. So,
So
yeah, my favorite scene. Oh
yeah,
man, there's just so many good scenes here, but have to be that D-Day opening scene.
yeah.
Um,
I'd say that's mine too. Yeah.
yeah, because I remember when this first came out, it was extremely shocking to see that. I'm trying to remember the first time I watched it. When did this movie come out? Do you know?
98,
Okay,
1998.
so I was in high school. I think I did watch this in theaters then.
Yeah,
And if I
my
remember,
parents definitely wouldn't let me because they were super strict about movie and video game ratings. And I
oh,
was like, I must have been 9 or so. Yeah.
oh, yeah, if this was out in '98, I was like 16 or 17. But yeah, I remember watching this, and I was like, holy crap, this is that first scene. And then I started seeing this scene or approximations of this scene happen in every World War video game from then
And a lot of
on.
war movies too.
Or movies, like what's that other movie? What's that movie that Mel Gibson directed? Hacksaw Ridge,
Oh,
or
We Were Soldiers? Oh, the newer one. Yeah, I haven't seen
yeah,
that one. I think it's called Hacksaw Ridge.
yeah, it's very similar. But yeah, lots of movies use that scene, lots of games. I remember even when I was watching that scene, I was like, this would be crazy if this was in a video game. This is just nuts. And then I basically saw it. in video games a couple years later.
Right.
But yeah, that scene is just so visceral, so gritty, so real. Um, like it's shocking. So yeah, that first scene, it's just like it's shock and awe. Like they hit you right away, right in the very beginning,
Yeah,
on
for sure.
how nuts this thing is gonna be, and just how random, just like people die. Like I remember I sent that clip.
Hmm.
That's like Jesus, you're a lucky bastard. And like a second later, guy gets shot in the head. I'm
Takes
pretty sure.
his helmet off that the bullet ricocheted off without killing him, and then gets shot in the head right after.
Yeah, and you see that man, there's just a lot of people screaming and freaking out.
And
And there's
crying.
people that are completely like ambivalent to what's going on. Like they just see people dying around them and they're just like not paying attention and they're like having tunnel vision.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
'Cause I remember one of the more shocking scenes was the guy's like dragging like a downed soldier and then like a bomb or a mortar shell goes off and then he's just like dragging half a body.
Yeah, that's Tom Hanks' character. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the guy that like his arm blew off and is like looking for it and he finds it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he just kind of walks along like nothing happened.
Yeah. Super fucked up.
Yeah, that's a crazy ass opening scene. I'd have to say that iconic first scene. I
Yeah.
guess second would be just like the ending standoff and Ramel.
Yeah, I think
Um,
I agree with you on both counts. Yeah, my favorite is definitely the first part, and yeah, I'd say my second favorite part is probably that whole last part too, for sure. Yeah.
and that whole last part is pretty lengthy. I think it's longer than the opening sequence.
Yeah, I think you're
Um,
right.
Because they're taking them, they're fighting for a while at that ending sequence.
Yeah.
'Cause I
Yeah, for
remember
sure.
looking at the timer in the movie, it's like, man, there's still like a good
Half
40
hour,
minutes left.
half hour,
Yeah.
40 minutes. Yeah, something like that.
It's like, holy crap. Like, okay. But yeah, that was my favorite scene, man. It sounds like it was your favorite as well.
Yeah, yeah, the D-Day scene at the beginning. Yeah, that was definitely my
Yeah.
favorite too.
Yeah. And then I almost get emotional at the part where Miller dies.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
Yeah, so it's like every time I watch that movie, the end gets me.
Yeah, me
It's
too,
like
man.
unavoidable. Like,
Yeah,
damn it, I know I'm gonna cry at the end of this. Let's get it over with.
yeah, it's
Get it
sad.
over with, people. I think it's the sad part is like when Matt Damon just like asks his wife, like, did I lead a good life?
Yeah, that's
It's like
sad
these
too.
dudes like sacrifice themselves for me.
Hmm.
I'm like, yeah. But yeah, the old I always thought it was weird too because I was just kind of watching the very, very, very opening where the old man is walking. And I'm like, why is this family like following him like from behind? They're not like with him. They're just letting him walk ahead of
Yeah, that
everybody.
is weird, isn't it?
Yeah, I was like, why is everyone back there? I was like, that's strange. And I know
I
why they
guess
did that.
like
That was like a cinematic
maybe
thing
they
that they
wanted
could do.
maybe they just wanted to give him like alone time with his dead fallen comrade or something like that. But it seemed more it seems more realistic, especially at the start when he just collapses in tears, that they would kind of all go toward him.
Yeah. Well, you could see obviously he was like having a little bit of trouble walking there. That's why I was like, you're gonna let him walk like that by himself.
Yeah,
This little dude, looking at the graves.
yeah,
But yeah, the production values of this movie are goddamn amazing.
definitely.
Um, wow, like everything is great. It's Spielberg, what do you expect? The guy's gonna knock it out of the park.
Yeah, of course. I'd
Like,
say that I have to say this is definitely my favorite Steven Spielberg film.
oh, I would have to look at a list, man. Like
He
all
made so
these films
many
are
like
goddamn good.
typical famous blockbusters. A lot of them I'm not really that big of a fan of. I would say my close second favorite to this one is Minority Report.
What about what you call them? Schindler's List.
That's a good one too, but I don't like it as much as either Saving Private Ryan or Minority Report.
Yeah, me too. Like Schindler's List is another one of those movies that will show unedited on American broadcast TV.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, there's just a very small handful of movies that they'll show.
Right.
But yeah, Spielberg, he's like one of the goats, like the directorial goats.
For
Like
sure.
most of all of his stuff is amazing.
Definitely.
But you would say Saving Private Ryan is your favorite of his films.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to look at a list, but I'm pretty sure this would probably top all, if not most of them.
Yeah. Do you like this more than Minority Report 2 or not?
As a movie, yeah, I think it's better.
Okay.
Just because of, like I said, I like when there's like a cast of characters that you can get invested in.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's that cast of characters, I don't know, it just seems more epic that way.
Yeah, I agree.
The Minority Report focuses mainly on the Ethan dude.
Yeah, and that says a lot for me too, and probably for you as well, because we're both huge science fiction nerds.
Yeah, I love like a group of people working together to get something done. You know, I like that concept more than like the lone wolf that's all on their own.
Yeah,
trying to do this on their own.
Yeah,
like the lone wolf vibes.
Yeah, it can be easier to identify with the characters that way.
Yeah, even though I am mostly a loner, I like the whole.
Yeah, I'm mostly a loner too. Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was trying to see what other people thought about like war movies in general. This was always high up on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah.
But there are some other war movies that I wanted to check out that I had not heard of before when I was doing research on like war movie topics. Because a lot of people put some Japanese movie on the top of their list called Ran or something like that.
I haven't heard of that one. Maybe that would be interesting to watch.
It's made by the same guy who made Seven Samurai.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen
You've seen that one, right?
No.
You haven't seen Seven Samurai? Jesus.
Nope.
Jesus, man. You gotta go watch that. It's an old black and white movie.
Oh, okay.
I've
heard of it. I haven't seen it though.
There's been a lot of like movies based off of that concept.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah.
But that's the movie that started it.
Okay.
Like I think The Dirty Dozen is kind of based off of that. There's a lot of westerns that are based off of that concept.
Okay, I was wondering if I had heard that connected to some westerns before.
Yeah, like I think The Hateful Eight is kind of loosely connected to it.
Yeah, obviously the Hateful Eight is supposed to be like Quentin Tarantino's dark version of the Magnificent Seven.
Yeah, the Magnificent Seven is based off of it, Seven Samurai.
Oh, okay, that's the context that I heard about it being related to westerns before.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if you want to go straight to the source, I highly recommend it. It's about a village that's being attacked by bandits, and this village is like super, super poor, and they try to hire like they try to hire some samurai to protect them.
Okay.
And then these 7 samurai like try to protect them. It's a really, really good movie.
Okay. Yeah, I should definitely check it out sometime.
You've seen The Hurt Locker, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people put that really high up on their list.
I wasn't a big fan of that one.
You didn't like The Hurt Locker?
I get the appeal of the concept, but it kind of felt kind of slow moving to me.
Oh, okay. I've only seen it once, but when I did see it, I thought it was really interesting.
It is an interesting concept, diffusing bombs in what is it, in Afghanistan?
Yeah, it was like on the Afghan war.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's more contemporary.
Yeah. A lot of
nobody had Jarhead on there. I didn't see Jarhead anywhere.
I didn't really like Jarhead.
Yeah, neither did I. I was like, it's kind of boring.
Most war movies are about World War II, I think, right?
Yeah, a lot about World War II. Lots of them are about Vietnam.
Yeah.
Because I remember one of the movies on the list, I was like, oh yeah, I guess technically that is a war movie. Shoot, what movie was it? Pan's Labyrinth.
That's a war movie? Oh yeah, I guess it takes place during... Is it during the Spanish Civil War?
No, it's during World War II.
Oh, it's during World War II. Oh, okay.
Because remember the Spanish were like fascists, and they were part of they were kind of part of the Axis for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
There's Franco. It's about like that, like Franco and that war. Was it? You know what? You might be right. It might have been the Spanish Civil War, because I remember there were like rebels or something like that. But whenever you saw like the bad guys, they look like Nazis.
Yeah.
So I thought they were like almost like Spanish Nazis.
Yeah, it could be. That's a good movie.
Pan's Labyrinth is pretty good.
Dude, you know what's there's an awesome homemade music video that someone made on YouTube with I forget what song it is. It might be, maybe it's Vicarious, but it's a Tool song, a song by Tool. Someone made a music video of that based on this, that's set to the scene in Pan's Labyrinth when the girl goes into the other dimension with that chalk, and she sees that monster with no eyes at the table, and because she takes food from the table, it gets its eyes, and then it starts chasing her. Someone made a music video with a Tool song based on that scene. It's really cool.
You know what else is a war movie?
What?
Bed Knobs and Broomsticks.
Is it?
Dude, the last scene, they fight the Nazis.
Yeah, my parents used to tell me when my brother and I watched that when we were kids, because we were so young when we first watched it, we would call the Nazis nutsies.
Nutsies?
They're the nutsies.
Yeah, because the Nazis invade that town, and then they fight the Nazis off with armor, with the animated armor. It's amazing how many movies came out like right after World War II that were like directly like about the Nazis and shit. Like less than 10 years.
The Nazis are pretty easy supervillains, right?
Yeah, and it's like as we get,
they're the villains in 3 out of 4 of half of the Indiana Jones movies. The first one and the third one.
Yeah, first and third one have Nazis in it. No, fourth movie has Nazis too.
Is the fourth one Nazis? I was correcting myself because I thought it was maybe the demons were the Russians in that one, or the bad guys.
No, there's Nazis.
They're the Nazis still? Okay.
Dude, remember there's a scene where they go to like a huge Nazi rally?
Oh,
in the fourth movie?
That's in the fourth one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's not in the third one.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it might have been the Nazis, but then I thought no, maybe it was the Russians. I don't know why I thought that.
Oh no, it's definitely Nazis.
Yeah. They figured out after the second one, yeah, we're gonna stick to keeping the Nazis as the bad guys. After the second,
Yeah.
that blonde chick in the second one is so awful.
Yeah, despite the second one being what it is, I still like it.
Yeah, it is good. I still
Yeah,
like
it's still
the first
good.
one the most.
Well, it's because you went from like this female figure who's like independent and strong to one that's just kind of a damsel in distress.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
And nobody likes the damsel in distress lady.
yeah,
She's just kind of annoying.
yeah.
And then
Oh, you're
remember
just
she comes
ruining
back.
shit. Oh, now you got to go save her again. Oh man.
But yeah, I was just thinking of like how many freaking World War II movies are there? There's just so many. And then you
There have
think
to be.
about,
I bet there's at least 100, if not hundreds, or more.
and then Vietnam has a few. Vietnam, there's a lot of Vietnam ones too.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
But once you start getting into more modern stuff, there's like a complete drop off. Like there's not many Iraq movies, not many Afghanistan movies. And it's just like I said, complete drop off.
Hmm.
Like nobody really cares about those.
300 is one of my favorite war movies.
Oh yeah, 300. Forgot about that.
That's got like more catchphrases than any other war movie
Does
ever.
it? Does it have that many catchphrases?
Magnus, this is Sparta. Spartan,
Madness.
ready your breakfast and eat hearty, for tonight we dine in hell.
Yeah, I've only seen the first one. I never saw that second one that they made.
The second one wasn't that good. I like the first one a lot more. Part
'Cause
of
I
it,
remember,
it was about mostly about naval warfare, and it didn't work as well for me that way. Come back with your shield or on it. I, I could say so many catchphrases from that.
and then Xerxes was just like this giant with like weird piercings everywhere.
Yeah,
And that's funny because like it seems like there's like magic in the first one.
yeah.
Like some of those enemies that they fight seems semi-magical.
Well,
Like fighting creatures and shit.
it's because it's a 300 is a dramatized movie version of a graphic novel based on a mythologized version of history.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember there were a lot of war movies in the 80s that were very focused on Vietnam. We have like a
Platoon.
bunch of Chuck Norris movies, Platoon.
Oh yeah, Rambo.
Rambo.
I think Rambo 3.
Yep, Rambo 3. He's rescuing people. And it's always like, I swear, like most of those Vietnam movies are about rescuing POWs.
Yeah, that's a good
Like,
point.
like a very large majority. It's
There's even an Arnold movie or two about that, isn't there? Like Commando, maybe?
Commando?
I don't know if that's Vietnam. I don't think that's Vietnam.
Commando is not Vietnam. It's like they
No.
kidnapped his daughter.
I guess
Yeah.
Predator in
Vietnam, I
Predator
guess
in the jungle.
Predator is kind of Vietnam-ish, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got like these fictional like Vietnam tales like Predator. It's a good like setting, out in the jungle.
Warfare. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when you get up to like Iraq, there's like what, 3 movies maybe or less?
Not many.
Yeah, it's a very small catalog. Well, I know there's a couple, like there's Three Kings. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah, that was. I don't think I ever watched that, but it was a really well-known one when it came out.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either, but I heard it was good. I probably will need to watch that at some point in time.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one I watched was Jarhead, and I was like not impressed.
Yeah, I didn't really like that one. I remember when that movie came out, I only liked it because there was the sex scene with his girlfriend, and you got to see her topless.
In which movie?
In Jarhead.
Oh, I must have just completely forgot about that.
I kept extremely specific track of that because I was a teenager at the time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm looking through like Iraq war movies, and there's actually quite a few. I just never heard of 99% of these.
A lot of them could be like low budget, straight to DVD when there were still movie stores, or now straight to Amazon Prime.
Like I've heard of this one called Stop Loss. I just never seen it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of like movies here that I've completely never heard of.
Okay.
Like, though I guess there's The Hurt Locker, Vice. I don't know. I guess that's about the Vice President Cheney.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a new one. That's the one where it's like a satirical movie about the Bush administration after 9/11, and it has Christian Bale playing Dick Cheney.
It's a satirical movie?
It's fairly satirical, yeah. It's like a comedy basically, but it's not a comedy, but it's kind of like a satirical drama.
Oh, I know another kind that's satirical. Men Who Stare at Goats.
Oh yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah. I've read the book, but I've never actually watched the movie.
The book is way better than the movie, in my opinion. The book is a really interesting fiction exploration of that topic. The
Remote
movie is
viewing.
the movie is like that, but it's a dramatized version where they they give the characters way bigger roles and make more of a consistent plot because it's a movie.
Oh, and then there's that American Sniper movie.
Oh yeah, that was I wasn't a big fan of that one really.
I remember people were like really, really talking about that when it came out, like it was the bee's knees.
This is really
Like Chris
polarizing
Kyle.
too. That was like the typical like right wingers liked it and left wingers hated it because it glorified soldiers killing people and killing civilians and apparently or something like that. And supposedly that the guy's story who it's based on like exaggerated some of his claims and something like that. I forget who it was. That conspiracy theorist guy who used to be a politician and he was a wrestler before that. Jesse someone. The fuck's that? Do you know who I'm thinking of?
Jesse Ventura.
Yeah, Jesse Ventura. Yeah. He was in Predator also.
Yeah,
He
I know
was
he called Chris Kyle a fraud or something like that.
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then there was like some legal battle about that.
I think so, yeah. I don't really
I wonder,
know any of the details other than that, but yeah,
well, I
apparently
have it pulled up. It was like Chris Kyle's widow was suing him. But actually, it looks like I think Ventura won.
What was
Let
the
me just
charge
check real
for?
quick. So Jesse Ventura defamation lawsuit.
Defamation. Oh, okay.
Oh, in the book, because I guess the movie is based off of a book.
Yeah.
And in the book, he said that he had like knocked out Jesse Ventura
Oh, right. Yeah. I remember now that you mention it, yeah.
at a bar, and I know exactly where this bar is because I've been there.
Oh, where is it?
It's in San Diego.
Okay.
It's a bar that I've actually been to because we were trying to find Jesse Ventura. Like one of my exes wanted to interview him for about like some alien shit.
Oh, okay.
But
Oh,
yeah, we went.
back in your alien conspiracy theory days.
Yeah, this was a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, apparently he talked shit about him in his book,
Right.
and then um, Chris Kyle appeared on a Opie and Anthony show.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, and because in the book he didn't say the name of who he had punched, but he revealed that on that show that who he had punched was Jesse Ventura.
Oh, okay.
And that's when Jesse Ventura said that that incident never happened and he's never met Chris Kyle in his life.
Okay.
And then that's when he filed the suit against him.
Yeah, apparently I heard something about how people who served with him said that he was like arrogant and like to play up his and exaggerate his kill rate or something like that too. I mean, I don't know. It does that movie American Sniper super like glorifies him and his role in the war and stuff like that too, for sure.
Yeah, because I know Jesse Ventura was involved in trying to debunk some of those things that he said.
Oh, okay.
Like I think one of the things he said was like during Hurricane Katrina, he posted on top of the a stadium, the Superdome, and he said that he started shooting armed residents.
Oh, right.
He said that he shot 30 of them. Now, that's
That's a
freaking
lot.
crazy. Because if
Yeah.
that's the case, he should have been like imprisoned for vigilantism.
Yeah, like you're not supposed to be allowed as a soldier to kill American citizens.
Yeah. Yeah, there's like a bunch of crazy shit that he said supposedly happened.
Right.
Like saying that he
Yeah.
shot 2 robbers, and then
That's
there's like
another
no.
example in my opinion where even though he says that fucked up shit in the book is still better than the movie in my opinion.
Yeah. You've read this book?
Yeah, I read it a long time ago.
Oh, like maybe I should put that on my list.
And I've seen the movie and I thought it was okay, but it's just kind of typical war movie. Not really that impressive to me.
Hey, you know what's kind of crazy book? Zero Dark 30. You read that?
I read that too. Yeah, I read that one after I watched the movie, and I thought in that case I thought the movie was actually better.
Yeah, it's very like they play it pretty close to the book. Like it's
Yeah.
very, very it's all about one incident, so
Yeah, that whole
um
incident is interesting too. The hostage situation in is it Iran in the 70s,
oh that's
right?
a Benghazi, man.
Oh, it was in Benghazi. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No. Oh, I'm confusing that with a different one. Oh, I
Oh,
was
which one?
confused. I was confusing that with Argo.
Argo. I'm not familiar with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Zero Dark 30 is a totally different thing. Yeah.
But you do remember Zero Dark 30 though,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I
Okay.
don't think I have read that book actually.
Oh, this is Argo's the one where they're getting revenge on the hostage people?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know there was a book about that.
Yeah. In that case, again, it's another one where it was a nonfiction book that got made into a movie and it was like way more dramatic in the movie. And in that case, I actually thought the movie was better. Because there isn't really there isn't really that much that even happens in the book, and there like a lot of it takes place from the point of view of CIA agents in America while the hostage situation is happening. There isn't a lot of stuff from the point of view of people who were there during the hostage situation.
Oh, actually, you know what? I don't think I've seen Argo. I saw that other movie
Okay,
about that. Do you remember what it was called? Um,
about the same hostage
yeah,
situation.
there's another movie. Shoot.
No, I'm not sure.
And I think it won like Academy Awards and shit.
Did it?
Yeah. Who was it? Who was in that movie? Shoot. Man, if it comes to mind, like, I'm gonna look at
up
Google.
Movies about Iran 1970s hostage situation. Of course, the first one that pops up is Argo.
Because it wasn't Argo, it was a different movie.
Right.
What was the name of the city that it happened in?
I'd have to look more into that here.
Iran
It just
hostage crisis
saying
movie.
Iran.
It just says Argo.
Yeah.
Well, it's a different movie. It was like, because the movie that I remember watching was a guy that was trying to hunt down the perpetrators of the Iran hostage crisis.
Okay.
Wait, in the Iran hostage crisis, did the hostages get killed?
I think so, at least some of them got rescued. I don't remember whether all of them did or some of them got killed, but some of them definitely got rescued, I'm pretty sure.
But I think it's called Munich. That's the movie I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
It's a different hostage crisis.
Oh,
Well, it wasn't a hostage crisis, it was a massacre.
Oh, okay. In Germany?
Yeah, it happened during the
Munich.
Olympics, that a Palestinian terrorist group took 9 members of the Israeli Olympic team hostage.
Okay.
And it looks like they killed a few of them.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, the hostage crisis you're referring to took place in 1979, and this one took place in 1972. So I just got them confused.
Oh, okay.
But Munich, that's the name of the movie. Yeah, I remember this was like a big deal when it came out.
That sounds familiar. I don't think I've seen that one.
Who's in the movie? Is it Daniel Craig?
2005 film? Oh,
Yeah,
is it Australian guy? The hell's his name? The guy who was in the first Hulk movie. Eric Bana, that's who it is. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I haven't seen that movie, but I've heard of it before.
That's a pretty good movie.
Apparently it's on Amazon Prime, so maybe I can watch it.
It's a Steven Spieldberg movie, just to let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I was right. Daniel Craig is in the movie.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So I know he got an Academy
Before he was
Award
Bond
nomination.
since it was 2012.
What's that?
Before he was Bond since it was 2012.
Yeah, this is pre-Bond.
He was in he was in some other movies like I saw that there was one of the Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie was on TV that when it just happened to be on the other day, and I saw, oh, Daniel Craig's in that movie, but no one knew who he was at that point. And he plays an American
guy. One of the Tomb Raider movies?
Yeah, he's in one of the Tomb Raider movies and plays an American guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember those Tomb Raider movies being not very good.
I just like them at the time because Angelina Jolie is hot. That's the only reason I like them.
Well, I think her hottest movie is Hackers.
I think her hottest movie is Beowulf because she plays a golden naked demon lady.
Oh, I've never seen Beowulf.
It's pretty cool. It's not very similar.
Well, if you want to see a lot of naked if you want to see a lot of naked Angelina Jolie, your best bet would be Gia.
Gia?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's one that she's known for doing a lot of nudity and sex in or something, isn't it?
Yep.
Okay.
But I think my personal favorite, like looks wise as Packers. I don't know, that short haircut just works for me in that movie.
Yeah?
Don't know what it is.
I don't know. She's really
I
hot.
don't know what it is. And she was like super young back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I was just like, man, that chick's hot. I think that was like the first time I'd seen her. That's probably why.
Oh, okay. I
That
don't
was
think
my
that,
first
I
experience.
definitely don't think that was the first Angelina Jolie movie I watched, but I remember watching that movie with my friends when I was a teenager because one of my friends really liked it because he was a super nerd. And I thought, well, Angelina Jolie is hot in every movie she's in, so yeah, she was hot in that one too.
Yeah, well, that was like the first one I'd seen her in. I was like, holy shit, who is this hot lady?
Yeah.
I was like blown away.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we got really off topic, didn't we?
Yeah. Off we do. All right. Well, yeah, well, I think we might as well end it here. Been talking for a long time, and yeah, looking forward to talking about episode 7 of
man,
tomorrow
I'm
on
gonna
your
love
channel,
that.
Folk Centrist. So check that out, everyone. And
Yeah, I can't believe we spent so much time last show talking. I think the show was like 3 hours long.
yeah, it was a 3-hour long one-on-one episode. It was all three of us it was all 3 of us that time. The one before that, just you and Tristram were talking about 2 episodes for 3 hours, I think, right?
Like 2.5, like almost 3 hours, yeah. I don't know why it was so long last. I think it's because we had a lot of gripes about something.
Well, it's fun though. It's fun though. I like getting Tristram's hot takes because he usually doesn't have many hot takes.
Yeah, sounds like he's gonna have some. I don't know what they're gonna be about, but we'll see.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks everyone for watching this. Hope you liked our other discussions about books and war movies in general and foreign policy and swearing and all sorts of other topics. And yeah, look forward. Ideally, next weekend, we're hopefully going to be talking with Parker about the second book in Stephen King's Dark Tower series called The Drawing of the Three. Actually, yeah, I did see that he said earlier that he's up for that. So yeah, we will do that because you said you're up for that too, right?
Yeah, I already started listening to it.
I'm going to start reading it tomorrow. So yeah, I'll have it done by then. So look out for that next weekend and also on Tuesday, so I can make sure I do it the day before the worldwide premiere of the new Matrix movie, The Matrix Resurrections. I'm going to put out a video of my reaction to the final trailer along with my theories of what could happen philosophically and spiritually, and because those are heavy themes in the whole trilogy. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Look forward to all of those. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell to be notified when I come out with new videos, and check out my Patreon, which is in the link for the description of the video, as always. And most importantly, always remember this: the funk cures all, and groove is in the heart, and I love you all. And watch Saving Private Ryan. It's a really awesome war movie. And say in the comments, what is your favorite war movie? Do you disagree with us that either Saving Private Ryan or Apocalypse Now is the best one? What's your favorite war movie? And check out all those upcoming podcasts. Check out us talking about episode 7 of season 1 of Wheel of Time on Dusty's channel, Woke Centrist, tomorrow. And anything else you want to say before we end it there, Dusty?
No, it sounds like you pretty much covered it.
All right, cool. Always fun to talk to you, man. And thanks again, everyone. And adios until next time.
All right.